Good afternoon, my name is Paul Riley from Total Soft Water and we're here with another one of our little information videos. We're going to show you how to change the filters in a K5 reverse osmosis system. Now this is a K5, they're all generally installed on flexible hoses, so there's quite a lot of play, quite a lot to give. You happily pull it forward to give yourself a little bit more space, because the first thing we've got to do is actually just turn the water off, which in this system here, Tony can zoom in for me, but it's connected to the main copper pipework by a valve such as this at the back of the unit. All of this does is washing machine tea. It's a little quarter turn valve, so we turn it from this position, which is open, to that position which is closed. Okay, now the other way that the system may be connected to the copper pipework is with a saddle valve such as this. This will be actually mounted onto a piece of the copper pipework, and this tap here simply turns off by turning it in a clockwise direction, the same way you would as a normal tap. Now you may need to turn it 12 or 15 times, don't be scared, just keep going in the clockwise direction and it will eventually shut off. Now the way to test this is if we look at this tap here. This is our reverse osmosis tap. It's actually a three-way tap. You may have water coming out of a smaller faucet, but if you turn the tap on, you'll find that you get a small dribble at the top here, which will eventually run to nothing, and you know that the system then is isolated. There we go, and the filters now are ready to be changed. So our water's now off. I'll just spend a couple of minutes looking at these filters. The purple filter is the rear filter and the orange filter is the front one. They're colour coded, so as long as you put the same colour in as comes out, you can't go wrong. And you'll also notice that the ends of these filters have these little lugs on. Now these are to lock the filters into place. A little bit like a light bulb, like a bayonet fitting in a light bulb. They just turn quarter ways one direction to undo and quarter way the other way to do up again. And it's just a case of getting the lugs lined up with the little receivers in the unit, and I'll show you how to do that now. So our water's off, we know which filter's which, and now it's time to change them. So again, just move the K5 system around, pop the magnetic plates off the side, and just pop it out, give yourself some more space. I'll put those on later. As I say, as I mentioned before, the purple filter is the one at the rear, and that just comes off by undoing it in a clockwise direction. So it's clockwise to remove the filters. Worth having an old towel around, partly to save your knees if you're leaning on it, and partly to mop up any drips that may occur. You simply pop the red cover off of the new cartridge. I won't take this one off because this is a brand new cartridge and we don't actually need to change the cartridges on here just yet. But imagine this is the new cartridge. It simply goes up in under here. You can see the little lugs that accept the lugs on the cartridge, and we rotated it clockwise to remove the filter. And like the old Haynes manuals used to say, refitment is simply reverse of removal. They go in anti-clockwise, so we just give this an anti-clockwise twist, and that's the rear filter changed. Okay, so we've changed the rear cartridge, the purple one. Now time to change the orange one. It's always worth doing the purple one first because it is slightly easier, give you a little bit more confidence. The front one's not difficult, but there is a bit of a trick to it because you've got to compress the spring-loaded pyrmometer, the metering system, when you put the new filter in. So that takes a little bit of a knack, but I'll show you how the best way is to do that now. Again, the filter undoes by turning it in a clockwise direction. And drops out this way. There'll probably be a little bit more water with the front filter than the back, but as I say, just have an old towel around and that'll be fine. There's a small cutout underneath the front filter at the bottom of the unit. Let me just see that there. So basically the easiest way to do it is pop the new filter into the bottom. I always put my hand on the top because this gives you something then to push against when you're just closing up the spring-loaded valve, and I'll just lean over, put the filter in place, and again anti-clockwise to nip it up. So that's the filters changed. Just mop up any excess water
And then the next stage is to simply back to our valve on the wall, on the pipework should I say, turn it on, and you'll hear the system coughing and spluttering because all the air in the filters will be going out. It sounds like it's going to be a horrendous leak, but there won't be. Just keep an eye on the side of the system until all the air purges out the system and the system starts to run to drain to produce water.
So the water's back on. There's been a load of crashing and banging and air going down the drain. But if I now come back to the tap up here and open it up, you'll probably find again a bit of coughing and spluttering as the air comes out of the system. That's not unusual. Just let it run. You might find initially that the water doesn't run out very quickly. But once the coughing and spluttering is finished, the water flow will probably drop down to this. You can then just shut it off. The system will then continue to fill. There'll be a bit more noise. But just keep the sides of the K5 off for a couple of minutes just to check for leaks. So just have a quick look. They're all okay. So these just pop back on. One on one side. One on the other side. And then the system pushes back into place. Job done. If you are struggling a little bit or you don't feel confident enough to do it themselves, then Total Soft Water do offer a service whereby we can come and change the filters for you, subject to obviously where you are. But hopefully that's been of some use. Any questions, feel free to email us at the usual address, paul@totalsoftwater.com, and we'll be happy to help. Thanks for looking.